Okay, everybody, here's a little bit more information that the Bureau agents should be explaining, as well as commercial banking in regards to the pandemic. So, this specific section, the right to privacy, the right to Financial Privacy Act of 1978, which means you keep any records that includes your driver's license, your social security, your banking account number, your routing number. So they have there's this bureau that I put on my Twitter to basically explain certain things that they're prohibiting whatsoever. So I have on my Twitter here, I'm just going to show you this article so you're at least aware about this section 1033. That's that section right there. Okay. When I was at the AmeriCorps and I converted to Judaism, and I would go to the temple in the city, and this is my yarmulke here just to show you proof that I'm not making up a story. When I would go in, I met a lot of these rabbis that were relatives of mine. And they would tell me every time they would have that special day where they would come and meet at the temple. Hey, Susan. Hey, Seth. Hey, Keith. Hey, Bob. Bobby had his identity stolen. And a lot of times when I was in the AmeriCorps, that's a government agency besides the Peace Corps. Those are two agencies that you can use to, apply to get rid of that student loan debt. But I did the AmeriCorps. When I did this project here with them at the Public Defender's Office, I was also at the District Attorney's Office at that time in New York City, in the Southern District. I met a variety of lawyers, from state to federal to local to even up here upstate New York and Albany as well. And for my conclusion, because I had a lot of relatives of mine that had this other company, and I'm going to explain this company, and this is a very good company, and that's LifeLock, and I would recommend anyone, if you ever have any identity theft or you want to protect yourself, including title insurance, because there's a lot of people that got affected with this title insurance for home insurance as well. They handle this as well. You just have to ask for the ultimate plan, and you just pay a yearly payment, and it monitors your credit and everything like that. So that's the company. It's Norton LifeLock. I'd highly recommend them, but this is what I had to do when I was there at the Public Defender's Office, and also for the District Attorney, even the military. I would get a client, and nine or 8 times out of 10, it would usually have to do with criminal court. I'd have to either show up at Brooklyn, a courthouse, or I'd have to show up in Manhattan, which is in the similar area. Then there's the Southern District Court that appeared sometimes. Prior to me having this, I had a private investigation license. The private investigation license I had was not only state, it was federal. So I could go into any building I want to. And I did have to go into the FBI building because they had their whole buildings tapped. I don't know what exactly happened with that incident, but it was related to what I'm about to explain. You guys have moles in all of your federal agencies, and you're not admitting it to the United States public. taxpayers are paying a certain amount of money. First of all, the President of the United States is related to me. I found that out later in life. My grandfather's original name was John George Trump. His brother's name was Fred Trump. He has a son named Donald Trump. They're all related to me in some way or form. The second thing I have in regards to this case, in this matter, in regards to this case with this little incident for the Consumer Protection Bureau, you're in violation of your own rules. You're not supposed, anytime you file an incident report with an identity theft of someone steals your credit card, they're supposed to contact the federal authorities immediately, besides the state police. They're supposed to do, this is in commercial law. This is explained to me by several professors at big prestigious universities. When you have an incident that Chase did this, and this, they're supposed to notify the State Department. You're supposed to do a police report with this incident. You're supposed to get in touch with a lawyer. Besides that, you have a right to free counsel. You have a right to a representative. And if you have any money that's over thousands of dollars, and some people got affected because Social Security is a social debt, they're supposed to give you either a new card or they're supposed to resolve that Social Security number to begin with. Once that Social Security, that credit card or the account is leaked, a bank is supposed to give you a new account. They're supposed to give you a new account. And these are the rules. This is in commercial law. Commercial law also follows under the jurisdiction of UCC law, which has to do with contract law. Article 4A and Article 5. You can look it up, Google search it. If any of you had your personal information on P-Interest, I would suggest contacting the nearest lawyer as inhumanly possible and filing a lawsuit, because they're not supposed to have anything that has to deal with your private information. And that goes with your photo as well. Because my friend Harold and I, when we were at the public defender's office, 8 or 9 times out of 10, it was an identity theft issue, and the police department was accusing the client of committing fraud. Meanwhile, he didn't commit any fraud whatsoever. He wasn't doing a thing. He went to the store. All of a sudden, he goes to the store. A minute later, he gets a knock on the door. Hey, you ordered this, and this, and the police department, they start looking at a lot of this stuff, and the county looked at this, the Nassau, Suffolk, the city departments, they all started looking, realizing that as soon as there's an identity theft issue, that's something I also want to bring up in the books. It's under UCC, and it's under contract law for commercial law, and it's in this thing, and I'm gonna send a PDF file to the Twitter and YouTube. As soon as you have an incident where it's a federal crime, the police department is required to send it to the Federal Bureau of Investigation. If they do not do that, they're in violation of their own license, and they don't have a right to keep their license. And that's the truth. Let me repeat that. When you have several police officers, you go to the precinct, you lose your car, you lose any type of means, and they don't give that information. And the district attorneys have told me this 50,000 times. They're required to give this to the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Besides that, they're required to give it to their jurisdictional people. If they do not do that, they're in violation of their own laws. They can be locked up and sent to prison because they're not doing their jobs. And another thing too with that, if a police officer is in violation, if, say for example, you get pulled over, I don't care if it's a constable, a sheriff, or whatever, they have no right to give you a ticket, and you have no right to sign it. You don't sign a thing. If the police officer, if you get pulled over and if they harass you to the point of no return, there's a certain thing I'm going to put in my little YouTubes as well, and also put it on Twitter as well. You have a right to be quiet and not say anything. And if they start telling you to get the hell out of the car, you tell them immediately, I'd like to speak to your supervisor. And you be quiet. And you, I'm saying this, and you agencies are going to start feeling the wrath, because as soon as I get my licenses back, I'm indicting you. I'm indicting you like no tomorrow. That Southern District Court is going to see me with a group of people, because you're letting a group of or organization of people commit felony crimes and think they get away with it. Who the heck do you think you are? And I say this with utter content or utter sincerity. You know that these companies like Vanguard and BlackRock are responsible for threatening the President of the United States. And what do you Bureau of Investigations do? You sit there and cross your hands and say, we're not going to do anything about it. You know, innocent people can get hurt. Do you know that these motherfuckers had a person come into my house and threaten me? Besides my relatives? And you wanted me to play games? Sooner or later, if you do not give me my licenses back, I will appear in the Southern District Court, in the federal court in New York City and Manhattan. And I'm going to go after every federal agent, every State Department, every federal department, and I'm indicting you, and you're losing your licenses because you're making a mockery of me, and I don't like it. And this is in regards to this consumer protection BS. The Office of Inspector General, you guys leaked out Medicare, Medicaid information, and I had people crying on the telephones. You're mandating people to get a lot of these vaccines or whatever. Who the heck do you think you are? You're in state and federal department. Do you know you can get federally indicted for going against HIPAA violations, besides HIPAA Department of Health violations? You can't mandate someone to get a vaccine. And a doctor can be held responsible besides the hospitals themselves. You got to have the equipment properly ready for that incident. And none of you guys are ready. Harold, my relative of mine, he passed away during this pandemic going after a lot of you bad people. And what I'm going to do, I ain't going to be nice. The second thing I'm going to say to you, BlackRock and Vanguard, as soon as I get all my stuff back, I'm taking you over to Europe, and I better make sure I'm going to get all those princes and people that are my relatives. And I'm going to make sure they're there. And you go over to that Arabian country, and you face the death penalty for committing mass genocide, besides all this stuff. You stole from people, you lied, you manipulated shareholders, and you think you're just going to get away with this nonsense. You committed so many felony crimes, you shouldn't even be in business, Vanguard and BlackRock. You should be indicted. And any of you people that are Jewish or Catholic that think that you can just get around this system, you got another thing coming. You had a person come into my house and threaten me and put a gun against my head and threaten me. And not only that, you had my uncle who is speaking in the front of a group of people, and you're making a mockery of him, and I don't like it no more. You're insulting me. Who the heck do you think you are? You don't want to do your job? Congratulations. Then you shouldn't be doing your job. Don't take your salary if you're not going to do your job. You're just wasting my time. You're in violation of constitutional law, and you can face an indictment. You don't understand. Those people that are in Europe, They're in the other federal departments, and they don't like this. They don't like Biden. They don't like Kamala Harris. They don't like any of those people. Do you know why? Because they were caught stealing. And they were doing pedophiliac behavior. And that's unacceptable behavior and will not be tolerated. And all you people are doing the same thing. And you ain't doing anything about it. That's all you're doing. You're wasting my time and you're wasting taxpayer dollars. And you know what? You guys are an embarrassment. And I hope this video gets to a lot of your people's ears when you're aware, when I'm taking you into court and they put you in handcuffs, and I'm going to be not laughing. I want them to indict you. You deserve it. So thank you guys. Have a good day.